Welcome back to JPDalewood. Today, we're going to start taking the old rails down. We cleared out a lot of the wood and junk and garbage that was in the way. And now we're just going to start pulling the rails down. We'll take a few measurements and sit down with our handy dandy notepad, see what type of lumber we need to put the deck floor in, or at least to put the header boards up, the framing up, and then the floor joist. Anyhow, that's what we're going to be working on today, and we're finally at least getting some of the construction done and not so much cleaning anymore. And now we have the whole side. All of the rails have been taken down. Still a few posts left. Like I said earlier, we'll reuse those. The hay racks are gone, swept up a little bit. I don't know if you can see in this camera the haze, the dust in the air, like a true 100% USDA amateur. I swept and swept and swept and stirred up all the dust, and now I can't breathe. My sinuses are killing me. Anyway, we're going to grab a couple of quick measurements and may even start looking at trying to put up some wood racks right out the bat. I don't guess we need the floor to at least do that. We'll take a look at it. Welcome to another day with JP and JPDalewood. Today I'm going to work on the wood rack. I found a great video courtesy of Homonomics that we're going to try. Look pretty simple and very cheap. I have all of the scrap lumber, as y'all can tell, with all the lumber, pieces of lumber I've got laying around. Anyhow, that's what we're going to get started today. But before we get busy, I want to introduce two young ladies that are just busting the gut to get on one of Daddy's videos. So anyway, without further ado, my oldest, ER, or Elizabeth Rose. Come here, baby. This is my oldest, Elizabeth Rose, and my youngest, Emily. Come here, darling. These are my shop hands, and they will be helping from time to time, hopefully start learning a little bit of what not to do, as yours truly is 100% USDA amateur. Anyway, these two have my heart, and they want to get on video, so I want to make sure they got on video. Anyway, thank you, girls. Love you.
I love you too.
All right, let's get started. All right, we're putting our first brace board on. This is where we'll set the runners for the actual, that we'll actually attach the cleats to on the rack. That's just our first one. We got one more to go, and then we'll do the rest of the runners. Welcome back to another morning with JPDalewood. I am your host, JP. I'm probably going to be shedding this flannel shirt here in the next few minutes. It is Christmas Eve, and it is quickly climbing right back up to 70 degrees. We were 70 degrees earlier this week. The last few days it's been 40 some odd degrees. And though it's not 7 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, we're getting there real fast. And I think tomorrow on Christmas Day it's actually supposed to be mid 70s, somewhere between 75, 80 degrees. Welcome to the Deep South once again. Anyhow, today we're going to finish working on the lumber racks. I found some old plywood on one of the walls that I'm going to be eventually pulling out. And so we're going to take that, rip it down, use the plywood for the cleats along the joist that we hung yesterday. And that way we can get everything secured, get so much of this wood that's in the way on the floor up out of the way, and it'll actually be above the deck that we're gonna put over the double stall area. Anyhow, the best part about this entire build is all of this wood is found laying around this old barn. So it's costing me goose egg, zero, nothing, nada. And fortunately, I found a real easy design thanks to Homonomics. That was a great post, and I certainly appreciate it. But that whole thing fits exactly what I'm able to scratch around and dig out from under all these little crannies and crevices. Anyhow, we'll finish doing that, and let's see how it looks when it's done. Thanks, guys. All right, we're going to pull the last of the staples out of this reused plywood, and then we'll make our split cuts, and we should be ready to start piecing all this stuff together. So I'm making each one of these cleats 16.5 inches long. That way, once we put the 2x4 in the middle, it'll actually take 1.5 inches of that off. So I'll actually then have still 16.5 inches of surface. 100% USDA amateur, right there. Math at its finest. Anyhow, I'm making it 16.5 inches long. By each one of these will be 12 inches wide, and then we'll cut them in half. Cut these planks, these pieces, in half at an angle, and that'll actually give us 2 pieces per sheet that we're going to cut out. All right, I got all my 12 by 16.5 pieces cut out. I think I've got enough to make actually 12 cleats, or 3 rows on the rails that we hung yesterday. Anyway, now I'm going to measure down 1.5 inches on each corner, draw my line, and then we'll split these, and then that should give us both sides for our cleats. I don't know if any of you caught it on the first take, but these boards I should have cut, you guessed it, 1.5 inches short, that way to give enough room to sit on the rail. I live and learn. This is one of 1,000 mistakes we've made already, and one of 1,000,000 mistakes we will continue to make. This cleat actually comes stamped. That is a miniature horse hoof print from one of those little suckers got ornery and decided to kick the wall. Any of you professionals out there would call this lazy and cheap for not replacing it. However, us 100% USDA amateurs call that nostalgia. The spelling will be on the screen. Nostalgia. And just like that, the wood rack is done. Yay! Beauty! I guess I need to do the standard hang from it to test the strength. Yeah, you're not going to get Fat Boy to do pull-ups, but I think that'll work. It'll at least work for what I got. Now, it's time to put all the wood on it. most of my wood on it and get all this junk off the floor. That top one will be a whole lot easier to reach once the deck's on and we're actually 8 inches higher, 8 inches closer to the top. But it works. Well, the wood rack is now up. The bulk of all the wood is up off of the barn floor or the shop floor. And I can actually move around a little bit. I think what I'll wind up doing after I get this floor laid in or built up, then I need to build a small little scrap wood bin, so to speak, and throw the rest of these little small scrap pieces in. And that'll pretty much have all of my wood out of the way, up off the floor, out of any type of flooding that's still getting into the barn, at least for the moment. But hey, again, that's not a DIY, that is more of a FYI, or at least a documentary. But hey, beauty.